See, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright to have a good time. Yeah, it's alright. Oh, it's alright. Listen to the beat. Kind of pat your feet. You got soul, everybody knows. Yeah, it's alright. Oh, it's alright. When you wake up early in the morning, feeling sad like so many of us do, hum a little soul, make your life go, and surely something's gonna come to you. Yeah, 'cause it's alright. Oh, it's alright. It's alright to have a good time. Oh, it's alright. Yeah. When you wake up early in the morning, feeling bad like so many of us do, hum a little tune, make your life so blue, yeah. Surely something will come to you, yeah, 'cause it's alright. I said, now it's alright. It's alright to have a good time, yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright to have a good time. Oh, yeah, it's alright. Oh, it's alright.
Oh, hi. Good morning. How's everybody? Yes? That somebody said great, but okay. All right. Good. Welcome. If you're here for the first time, my name is Maureen Hoyt, and I am the former pastor of this church for 14 and a half years. And I am here this morning as a guest speaker. And I like that. Yay. Thanks. A few of you appreciate that. We all, yeah, that was self-serving. If you're here for the first time, we are a center where we honor all who are on their spiritual pathway, who practice their beliefs in faith and love. So our call to service is called Lighting the Flames of Faith. And this morning we have Andrea ready, and knowing how to light a candle is a good job at this church. So this is our call to service, and we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from that one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. As Andrea lights the first candle for the Tao, we honor the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. The second candle we light for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the 8th candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The 9th candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives and for the space we hold for them at this center and in our hearts. And as Andrea lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
And so how very, very grateful I am for this opportunity to recognize that one flame, to take a moment to recognize, to remember that there is a power and a presence and just one life of all. No other power exists outside of the infinite. Life itself, love, peace, beauty, joy, God. God is, and God is all there is. There is no other. There is only the one flame, one power, one presence, one life. How grateful I am to know that this infinite intelligence was so pleased with itself that it recreated itself in its own image and likeness and named it Andrea, and named it each and every individual here. These beautiful individualized expressions of the one life. And it is in this consciousness of oneness, from this place of unification, that I simply bless and call good and very good this morning's service, knowing that it serves to uplift us and to open us up, wide open, to new ideas of the truth of who and what we are. Blessing the search for our new spiritual director, our new senior minister, knowing that it unfolds in absolute perfection. Blessing Reverend Maureen as she steps forward and allows the word of infinite intelligence to guide her and speak in, through, and as her, to lift us into new ways of being. And so I simply remain thankful and grateful for everything that unfolds this morning, knowing that we are here by divine appointment, that this is the perfect combination of individuals to receive the word that is spoken. And so I give thanks and I release this word to that aspect of infinite intelligence known as law, which always and only says yes. So I know it is done, I know it is so, I know it is complete, and I can now just let it go and allow it to be so. And in agreement with this word spoken, we simply affirm it together by saying,
And so it is.
And so it is. Good morning. Well, there were so many more of you in Sparks Hall. Where'd you all go? Well, happy to see you all here this morning. It's wonderful to be here. I'm happy to be with you in this way. I'm going to make this announcement when I make the announcements, but I do want to invite you to stay after service for an opportunity to learn about the process that we're in to select a new senior minister, spiritual director here at our center. So Michael Tatlock is going to be presenting a summary of the process that we're going through and co-creating this experience of manifesting the perfect minister, senior minister for this wonderful center. So, I have had the pleasure of spending the last 5 Mondays in class with Reverend Nancy and the Foundations class. And it's been a wonderful experience. We had a large group of people. I think we started with 20 of us, which is a big class for us here at the center. And we're using a new curriculum, which is 6 weeks, condensed from the 10-week courses that I've taught previously from Religious Science International and United Church of Religious Science. And now the Centers for Spiritual Living have put out a curriculum for the Foundations course. And this is the book that we're using. It's called A New Design for Living by Ernest Holmes and Willis Kinnear. And it's fantastic. It's somebody used the word conversational. It's much more conversational than the textbook that we've used in the past, The Science of Mind and Spirit. Michael spoke at our first service this morning, Michael Tatlock, one of our new practitioners here and a ministerial student getting ready to finish ministerial school. And he used the term in his talk called spiritual audacity. And I love that term. And it's kind of what this book is asking us to be. It's asking us to be spiritually audacious. And it's claiming that we are able to create whatever life for ourselves that we want to create when we use that infinite intelligence, the power for good in the universe that we can use. And we can be spiritually audacious and say, by means of our thought, this is what I am claiming and accepting for myself. And that we can receive and experience as much good as we are willing to accept. And that's what the class has been all about. And in this new design for living, we are able to do that when we learn how and when we practice the tools that we're given to create the life of our wildest dreams. It's audacious. So towards the end of the book, chapter 20, Ernest Holmes puts forth these 3 very simple propositions that I'd like to share with you. You all know what they are, probably, but let's review them together. You know, I love doing class because, and I don't say that I'm teaching the class because you all are the teachers. I just facilitate the conversations. But I learn so much when I'm participating in this process. I learn it by getting to review and read all this stuff again. I learn it from the brilliant ideas that you all bring to the class. But these 3 very simple propositions are, number 1, we're living in a spiritual universe. The ultimate reality is God, mind, intelligence, or spirit. God is both the creator of all things and is all things because it creates from itself. Number 2, there is an impersonal law of mind. This is the aspect of spiritual reality through which and by the means of which it goes forth into expression. In the mind of God, there is a thought, The thought becomes manifest or tangible in accord with law. Law is not a thing separate from God, but the way and the means of God expressing itself. And just to add on to that, we do that same thing because we're individualized expressions of it. And this is how we create the lives that we have and the lives that we want. It's through our thinking that is placed into the law, and it's based on our belief. It says that in our Declaration of Principles. And finally, 3, God, spiritual reality, is presence and person to each of us individually. God is in the midst of us. It is what we are. Infinite presence becomes personalized at the center of our being, warm, colorful, loving, and joyous. So the question is, how spiritually audacious are we willing to be in creating the life that we want, in creating the spiritual director that we want, and in creating our own lives? Thank you.
There's a flower in the smallest garden, reaching for the light. There's a candle in the darkest corner, conquering the light. There is amazing strength and a willing hand. There are victories that you've never planned. There's a hero in everybody's heart. There's a fire inside of everybody, burning clear and bright. There's a power in the faintest heartbeat that cannot be denied. Go on and trust yourself. You can ride the wind. Gonna take your dream to where they've never been. There's a hero in everybody's heart. Go on and trust yourself. You can ride the wind. You can take your dreams to where they've never been. 'Cause there's a hero. There's a hero.
Fabulous Teresa James, everybody. I love that line that we can take our dreams to where they've never been, and that's what we were talking about a second ago. So I'm going to highlight, thank you for that, Teresa. I'm going to highlight some of our announcements first. Practitioners are available today for treatment, a 2-minute tune-up in the treatment room in the front lobby there. If you're a licensed practitioner, please show yourself. So there's quite a few of us here today. We'd love to pray with you. Also, if you would like to find a practitioner online, you can do so at cslgh.org. Today at 11:30, as I mentioned, as the second service concludes, practitioner Michael Tatlock will present an overview of the search for senior minister. The streaming will continue for those watching on Facebook Live or watching from our YouTube channel. So you guys can stay online and hear all about the process. Next Wednesday, February 25th at 7 o'clock, the Science of Mind discussion group takes place with Reverend Maureen and Reverend Nancy. They will take you on a journey of Science of Mind questions and answers, and a love donation is accepted at the door. Saturday, February 28th from 9 till 12, wonderful practitioner Myrna Morales, who's here with us today, is going to bring a free introduction to the segment of the class Spiritual Economics. If you're wanting to boost up your consciousness around economics, finances, the law of circulation, come take this class, which is starting this spring on March 17th. Please see the flyers posted on our website, social media, and Sparks Hall. This class is being offered in Spanish as well, with a free introduction the same day from 1 to 3. To sign up for or to get more details about the class, call the church office or email admin@cslgh.org. And then Chloe's going to bring up our gratitude box and tell us what somebody put in there that they are grateful for.
This is a good one. It says, I am grateful for my church, family, home, and anything
And my
in my health.
Yes, I'm grateful for my church family, my home, and my health. Yes. Thank you, Chloe. So now we have our Declaration of Principles. If you care to and you're able to, please stand up and join me in reciting these. And this is what we believe. We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes this presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
You guys want to stand up? Sing with me, please. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Oh, bless you all. I just lip sync when I'm up here. I do my Milli Vanilli imitation. They actually pay me not to sing. So I want to welcome everybody who's on the live stream this morning. Hi, Thibault. Bonjour, bonjour. He's with us from France. I know we have people from Ireland on the line. We have people from Canada on the line. And gosh, we are becoming sort of otherworldly, if you will. Yes, yes. I'm just going to reiterate what Andrea said about staying after for a couple of minutes. I've probably written the shortest talk I'm ever going to give, just so that we can have this little presentation after the service. And it's about being informed. And last Sunday, several people came up to me and asked me if we had a new minister in line yet. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be nice? Except you'll find out that the process is quite a bit longer than a couple of weeks. So I just wanted you to know about that. Based on the talk for today, on the edge of the possible, what would be possible if we really believed that anything is possible? I mean, if we think about it sometimes, I don't know if you ever daydream like I do, and sort of wishful thinking, as my dad used to call it. We lived in somewhat distressed circumstances growing up, but we didn't know that. We didn't understand that as children. Everybody was having the same experience. I lived in a small mining town in southeastern British Columbia. And if my dad went hunting and didn't catch anything, we didn't generally have meat to eat or fish. Although he always caught fish. That was very interesting to me. But that's the edge of possibility for all of us is where dreams begin. And that song was so apropos. That could be the theme song for Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey. Seriously. This week we awaken our collective consciousness, our collective imagination, daring to believe in a world shaped by love, justice, and the creative power of spiritual vision. When we dream things, that's about spiritual vision. Dreaming has a connection to the heart. And when we ask, well, why am I not meeting my bills at the end of the month kind of question? Or why am I not in a relationship? Or why do I always feel sick? Or why? The why questions are always questions of the heart. We have, I already did that. We have more possibilities available in each moment than we realize. Thich Nhat Hanh. What are the possibilities? What is it that we desire to experience? Do we believe in the turn of phrase, with God all things are possible? Do we have faith in the power of our own word? Do we have the faith in God or the faith of God? I ask that question a lot lately of myself. What's the deciding factor between the two? Sometimes we're acting as if, aren't we? My dad used to call it pretending, but acting as if puts a law in motion that there's possibility that the dream that I'm dreaming will come true. And it is coming true to the degree that I believe it to be coming true. The affirmation for this week is, I am a co-creator of a world imagined and not yet imagined. That's the wonderful part of imagination, isn't it? It's unlimited. Just like Ernest Holmes suggested, we would not be given an idea of any desire or scenario without the possibility of seeing it to fruition. That to me is the basis of science of mind. It's not about acquiring stuff and things, it's acquiring the consciousness of receptivity to the stuff and things. You know, it starts with me. It's not just believing that if I wish something to happen, it's going to happen. I think the movie The Secret did more to mess us up in that arena than it did with valuable information. We've heard over and over again on Sundays a quote by Ernest Holmes that Howard Thurman actually used in his own sermons. If you've read For the Inward Journey, you will see it in there. You'll see it in some of his other books. There is a power for good in the universe available to everyone, and we can use it. It's right in the quote in the talk notes for this Sunday, that showing the page number where Howard Thurman uses it. Now, he was in San Francisco pastoring a church in the 60s. And how I never managed to get there to hear him is beyond me, because I tried everything in the 60s. I mean, I'm not joking, everything. Well, never mind. Okay, never mind. So my version, oh gosh, I almost told on myself. My version of this thing, there is a power for good in the universe available to everyone, and we can use it, and it uses us. It uses us. Why do you think we're here? We're emissaries of God in expression. Each one of us is. Because the talk title today suggests that we're on the edge of the possible, does that mean we're not quite there yet? Maybe. You know, how much can we demonstrate? We can demonstrate to the degree that we have the ability to see something, vision something, visualize something in real form. Carl Jung said it's not the shadow part of us that scares us. It's the golden shadow that scares us the most. The golden shadow lies within each one of us as our genius, lying in silent repose, awaiting our recognition of it. We're more scared, that sounds like a 6-year-old. I feel like a 6-year-old sometimes. But aren't we scared of the genius that's within us? I mean, when I look out there at David, my genius recognizes your genius. Thor, my genius recognizes your genius. Marianne, my genius recognizes your genius. That's how we find our tribe, is from the genius that lies within silent repose within us. You know, Ernest Holmes would say that Jung was talking about God as the genius within us. We all have it. Mediocrity knows nothing higher than itself, but talent instantly recognizes genius. You know, after all these years of coaching and counseling, I've noticed that almost to a person, what the client is seeking is relief from something. Contentious relationships, fear of financial insecurity, an unsatisfying career, and the desire to feel better physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Those are the 4 things that people come to coaching and counseling for. It might have a smoke screen and look like something else, but in the end, we're all looking for relief of some kind. Our emotional reaction to the world's situations is the macrocosm of our microcosmic world. You know, we couldn't see what's going on out there as terrible if there weren't something terrible going on in our own lives. And the relief is at the forefront for our desire for change. Sometimes this causes us to adopt measures that bring quick and temporary relief from the immediate pressures on us, but they don't have much effect on the situations themselves, or long-term effect, I would say. It's like a Band-Aid on a broken arm sometimes. The real purpose is to relieve only ourselves accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. So how many of us didn't let go of what was without claw marks? You know? I think that was one of Eric Hodge's favorite sayings when he was first in Science of Mind, is you didn't release anything that didn't have claw marks on it. A wonderful quote. Somehow we must find that which is big enough to absolve us from artificial and ineffective methods for increasing welfare and well-being. This means the large view, the great faith, which will release the vast courage, affects 1,000 times more through the united consciousness of a group. This is the united consciousness of a group. The class that Andrea and Reverend Nancy are teaching is the united consciousness of a group. Any class that we teach is that. It can be 6 people, it can be 60 people, but that consciousness of that group, they're all there willing to see the genius in everyone else who's there. Everyone here is a part of that group. We're all standing on the edge of the possible. And we are asked to lean into and beyond what we think we know and dare to envision what could be. So what could be in your own life? That's a question you might write into today if you do any journaling. What could be if I just let go of my stranglehold on the outcome? Because that's what we do sometimes. It has to look a certain way. It has to be a certain way. Both Howard Thurman and Ernest Holmes invite us to lift our sight from the small temporary fixes and see with the large view. That's in quote, because there's no big or small in the mind of God. Large just means it's bigger than what I currently have, maybe, which encompasses a faith enough to hold and transform the world. The Science of Mind teaches that there is a power greater than we are, a law of good, a law of God, responding to our thought. When we align our collective consciousness with this vision, as we often do in a group situation, we multiply our impact exponentially. This week's theme reminds us that the edge isn't just a metaphorical cliff. It's the threshold where faith meets action. See, it's not about having the faith and sitting home on the couch and reading a good book. It's about acting, treat and move our feet, right? And where we step boldly into a larger idea of who we are and what we can co-create together. If the God of our understanding always says yes to whatever idea we place or release to the law of mind, what gets in the way of the possibility of the outcome we desire? Is this a theoretical question or a rhetorical question? Or do we already know what gets in the way? I do. I have it on a fairly regular occasion. Monkey mind. That's what gets in the way. Monkey mind, as the Buddhists call it, argues for our limitations. It's the part of our psyche that keeps us safe and in old behaviors. I've never done that before. I'm too old. I'm not qualified. I don't have the money. If the last one is one of your go-tos as an excuse for not doing something, then you might want to go to Myrna's class. Because Eric Butterworth's Spiritual Economics is one of the definitive books. He's a former Unity minister in New York City. And he used to speak before something like 2,000 people every Sunday. Mind you, it was in the 50s, and in the wintertime, people came in to get warm and have a bite to eat. But 2,000 people every Sunday, because he knew what he was talking about, and subsequently wrote the book about it. Being in class always allows us to tap into the true power of the collective consciousness, where we cultivate a larger faith by means of the sharing of every other student in the class. You know, if you remain silent through the entire class, nobody knows whether you're doing a good job at life or not. We share in class. And as a community of students of this teaching, instead of exhausting ourselves with temporary relief and having to do it over and over and over again, we take creative steps to make permanent change in our lives. Permanent. That means it's set in stone. And somebody always says to me, a friend of mine, well, the way you do one thing in life is the way you do everything. Well, let's set a new standard for that. I'll reiterate one of my favorite quotes that I coined. Everyone wants to be transformed, but nobody wants to be inconvenienced. I used to be like that. I wanted somebody else to do it for me. You know, going to the gym, as Reverend Mike would say, nobody can go to the gym for you. You have to do that yourself. If we take this idea that is transformative and creatively step into the unknown, we begin to see ourselves as catalysts for change, asking not just what's wrong, but what's next? What's next? We're going to find out a little bit about that after the service. Many of you filled out the forms we handed out over the last 2 weeks as to the qualities of being that you wanted to see in the new minister. And if you didn't already do so, there are some forms out on the counter in the lobby that you can fill out today. Through the power of what you've indicated on those sheets, we have a good idea of the qualities of being that you want. Some of you indicated what you don't want too. We're not putting those on the picture we're going to make about this. Some of you wrote a short book on the front and the back of the form. Wow, and I thought to myself, because it's anonymous, I have no idea who wrote them. And I'm going to just ask, can you live up to all those qualities of being that you wrote on that form for yourself? Okay, that's the question. Together, we become a multiplying force for what's good and what's possible. Change is not always easy. It isn't. There's something about the uncomfortable comfort of keeping ourselves where we are. We do that. It seems to be what we know and what we expect. Have you ever heard someone say, well, if you just changed a bit, I'd like me better? Yes, you're laughing. But really, that's what it is. You want somebody else to change so you feel better about yourself. Not that I've ever done that myself. The edge of impossible isn't comfortable. It stretches beyond our habits, our fears, and our assumptions. Are we willing to be stretched? That's rhetorical. You don't have to put your hand up or answer it. Are we willing to imagine something bigger than our personal comfort? Something that might require courage, creativity, and spiritual audacity. Look, we live in an unlimited universe, right? Anything is possible. Spirit has identified itself by means of each and every person in this room. Like Emma Curtis Hopkins said, you know, maybe you should go out and try to show other people that part of who you are. Spirit has identified itself by means of every person in this room. Those on the live stream as well. As a spiritual community, we are not just here to be comforted by possibility. We are here to create it. When we stand at the edge, we don't peer into the void. We peer into the infinite potential that Spirit has in store for us. Science of Mind reminds us that there is a power greater than we are, and we can use it, not just for personal healing or prosperity or the new car or the new house, but for the awakening of a world that works for everyone. Together, we step boldly toward the edge, not to fall, but to fly, knowing with God all things are possible. Will you join me in consciousness, please? And as we go into the darkness within, it is in that darkness that we define who it is we are and who we are intended to be. That Spirit in its infinite wisdom has created me in its image and likeness, because Spirit so loved itself that it needed form to express. And so I know today, for each person here, for everyone on the live stream, for those watching in Sparks Hall, that there is truly a power for good in the universe available to us, and we can use it. We can use it as it uses us. And so I know today that the opportunity that we have here at Granada Hills is a bigger opportunity than maybe each one of us individually can embrace. But as a group, we can, as Andrea said, be audacious in our discovery of who and what it is that we want as a spiritual director. Who and what we want as human beings having a spiritual experience and spiritual beings having a human experience. And so for this and so much more this morning, I'm eternally grateful. As I release my word to the activity of the law always says yes, as we say together, and so it is.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable fall, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable.
very nice, very nice.
A special request.
Yes, yes. Chloe, you want to come up with that basket? Thank you. Isn't she a good basket bringer? Yes, she is. Chloe, bless her heart, is one of the youngest members here today. I love that. Maybe your son is a little bit younger. Yes? Oh, yes, you are the youngest one here today. Yes, you are. Welcome. So it's time for conscious giving. And just a reminder, having been the former minister here, you know that I'm interested in the profit and loss and the balance sheet, just like I always was. I remember Reverend Sandra Dixon saying to me one time, we're having this intimately spiritual discussion, and somebody handed me a profit and loss and a balance sheet, and immediately my left brain kicked in. You know, right brain, left brain, feed me, feed me. Anyway, our conscious giving today, if you'll hold your gift in your hand, do we have the slide for the, yes, please, repeat after me. Not after me, just read the slide. Thanks. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. If you come with an offering this morning, please do come up and put it in the basket.
Y'all sing with me now. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us.
All right. So we thank you this morning for your generosity, knowing that as these gifts are a demonstration of the love and the life of the Granada Hills Center for Spiritual Living, that we embrace whatever has been given today from the place in which it was intended. And we find direction for the financial offerings that have been given here today at various levels. We know that this center flourishes in a grand and glorious way, and that we are here simply to make that happen for this center. And so from this place in consciousness, I joyfully receive and give thanks for anything and everything that has been placed in the basket, anything and everything that comes through the mail, through Zelle, through PayPal, in whatever way it shows up. We are eternally grateful, as we say together, and so it is. So we are not going to sing the peace song this morning. We're not going to have the closing treatment yet. Michael Tatlock, if you will come forward, and we can introduce you to this part of the congregation as one of our newest practitioners here, who comes to us sort of, by the way, through the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, the Bellingham Church, CSL, and Spirit Works in Burbank. So he's been at a few churches around here. He knows what he's doing, and he has been up-leveled to the consultant to the search committee because of having done that for 3 other churches. So please welcome Michael Tatlock.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Yeah, as Reverend Dr. Maureen said, I've been through this a couple of times, and Reverend Tricia Klink also knows that I've been through this, and she held my hand on one of them. I'm brand new here, and it was sort of an interesting aspect that when we were deciding to move over, my husband and I, we had a lovely conversation with Reverend Mike, and we had this hour-long conversation, talked a lot and everything like that, and then all of a sudden at the end of the conversation, he goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm retiring at the end of January." And so both Tim, my husband, and I just sort of went, "Oh, okay, good." And so we went out to the car, sat in the car. My husband looks at me and goes, "Are you ready to go through this again?" So this is the fourth time I will have gone through a senior minister search. The most recent one was up in Bellingham, Washington, where I was there for 3.5 years. And we did a process that CSL, the Home Office, sort of prescribed. And there's certain aspects to this process that I'm going to give you an overview about. And so, ooh, look. So, phase one, I call it the conscious pause, because what happens is that when the old senior minister leaves and or retires, as Reverend Mike has done, a void is created, a space, and that space needs to be filled. And so there's a pause that happens. Nothing's the same. We have guest speakers all the time right now, and so we fill that space. And you have an amazing amount of practitioners and ministers here that are holding that spiritual space for you to fill. So, and it's part of the transition. And the lovely part of this transition is that you all are the ones who get to fill it. And you've already started the process. The forms that Reverend Dr. Maureen spoke about, you filled those out. These are the qualities I want in a new minister. I want a sense of humor. I want, a wonderful teacher. I want him to be blonde. I want her to be brunette. I want a redhead. Who knows? Those are all qualities, right? And you've already started listing them. But the other part of this process is that you get to honor the past that you've just come through, and you get to express and welcome the future. And you get to express into this void that's been created what it is you want as a community. And so it's those wishes, those desires, redhead, blonde, brunette, I don't know what it is. But you have already started defining that. And so the void is now being filled by you. It's being held by the ministers and practitioners here, but it's being filled by you. And the specifics of this process are still evolving, and how the community engages in a large part in creating that overall vision. Because what happens next is you're beginning to build a bridge. And it's a bridge from the old to the new. That's the metaphor I like to use. And so Home Office defines that bridge as an open pulpit. That means this pulpit here at CSL Granada Hills is open at the present time. And so we as a community are coming together to define what it is, the parameters that we're searching for. It's like writing our job description for the new minister, in a way. But it's bigger than a job description, because it's sort of, what is the spiritual essence of this new person that we're trying to attract to us? Because it is literally the co-creation process in action. That's what you're participating in now. So Within this open pulpit package, which you've actually received from Home Office because the discussion has already been started, is you get to give them your financials. I think it's 2 years of your financials, maybe 2 or 3. You have to give them your bylaws. What are the legal operating, conforming laws that we're operating under as a nonprofit organization? You give them your policies and procedures. You create a video of CSL Granada Hills. Who are the people? You give them a demographic. How many people are, what's the age range of the people that we have here? Do we have a youth program? All sorts of data points are being gathered right now. That's what your search committee does. It helps gather the data points together. We also give information on Granada Hills, California, overall. What's Granada Hills like? What's the areas that are surrounding Granada Hills, like Mission Hills, where I'm moving to. So all this is gathered together, and then it's sent into Home Office. And there's a posting that happens at Home Office. It's literally called the open pulpit. And you post initially for 60 days. It has to be there for 60 days. And what that initial posting allows is all the ministers who are licensed by CSL overall, worldwide, can apply for the position. And they send their information into Home Office, and Home Office does an initial screening, making sure that they're licensed, their license is in good standing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they forward those applications that have passed through that initial screening to the search committee. And then the search committee goes, oh, well, candidate A, they meet A, B, and C, and D. So they do their own screening here. And then what happens is that all the applicants who have submitted their package and have passed through Home Office and the search committee, then the search committee basically goes to the board and says, hi, we have all these applicants, and we think these 3, 4, 5 are great fits for our community according to what we have said we're looking for. So they recommend candidates to the board to bring in. And that's important because they go from applicant to candidates for your position. So what happens is that the board goes, oh, well, let's bring these 3, 4, 5, 6, however many they decide that they want to bring in, let's bring them in. So they bring them in for what's known as a candidate weekend. And the candidate weekend is sort of this gauntlet of activity that happens for the candidates for your position. And it involves meeting the community, you all. It involves meeting with the staff ministers and the practitioners and the board and whomever else that the board decides that they really need to meet so that everybody has an input. So the reason the board has to do this is that there could be a financial reason to bring them in if they're not here locally. If they're out of town, the board has to decide whether we're going to spend the money to bring them in for the candidating weekend. Because the board handles the business of the organization, right? So, all the way through the candidating weekend, the community is evaluating. There are forms that you get to fill out. You get to, they're going to give a Sunday talk, like Dr. Maureen and I did today. And you get to rank them, 1 through 5. You have all sorts of data input along the way that you as the community are giving to the board and to the search committee to make a final decision. They will give a workshop afterwards so you can see how they handle themselves in an education manner, because education is a huge part of our organization. So once that's done, you move from candidate to selecting the candidate. And that happens at a general meeting. Now, you're having an annual general meeting, which you always have to have by law, but this is a special meeting to decide who your next candidate, who your next senior minister is going to be. Generally what happens, and I'll just use Bellingham as an example. Bellingham, they brought in 3 people. So that was 3 weekends. So an entire month was taken up by candidating. And 2 of those people had to come in from out of town. So they had to be flown in, they had to be put up, they had to be fed, and then they went through the process, the candidating weekend that we just talked about. So let's say you bring a candidate in and the community decides, you know what? We need to go back out and post again because it doesn't feel right. We haven't found the right one. They haven't landed yet. Then you go back out and you post again. Or you decide to hire them. We loved candidate D. They were amazing. Let's bring them on as our senior minister. So what happens? The board will step in and do the negotiation. They are issued what's known as a letter of call. And there's a variety of different elements within the letter of call, but it's like a contract for employment. And the board and the candidate negotiate all the terms of it. If they're out of town, are you going to pay for me moving in? Are you going to do, whatever? All those individual elements are managed and negotiated by the board. Then, once the formal letter of call is issued by the board, oops, let's go back. You have a new senior minister. That's the process. So where are you right now? You're in phase 1. And you're actually sort of working on phase 2 at the same time. Those 2 can actually happen simultaneously because you're gathering data. And then phase 3, you post to the open public. 60 days minimum. If you haven't found anybody within that initial 60 days, you can extend it, but it has to be done. The initial posting is always 60 days. Phase 4, candidate weekends. You bring 2, 3, you're going to have, 2 weekends, taken up by, or more, taken up by candidates. Then the community informs the board which one they're interested in. Letter of call is negotiated, and you move through. Questions? Was it clear as mud? Was it fun? It's a fun process, you guys. Oh, come on. This is fun. I should know. I've done it 4 times, but... And it really is fun. And the lovely thing about it is sort of what I talked about in the first service, is that the exciting part is that you all get to choose. You all get to determine what it is and who it is that you want to bring in. This is driven by the community. It's not driven by the ministers. It's not driven by the practitioners. It's driven by you. You have the buy-in. You are the voice of the community because you are the community. And you're wanting to create and co-create who it is you want to bring in. You're in the most exciting part of this, and it only gets better from here. So whatever fears and trepidations and anxiety you might have, put them away. Or go talk to a practitioner or one of the staff ministers here. They'll help you. And the other part of this is that the board, staff ministers and the practitioners have embraced the idea of a radical transparency so that you will know what's going on each step of the way, so that you will be informed. And if you have questions at any point in any one of those phases that we talked about, talk to a minister, talk to a practitioner, talk to a board member. They're here to help alleviate your fear and get you answers. And if they don't know, they'll walk and find out. They'll go to somebody and find out. We're here for you because you all are the ones who are driving the bus, so to speak. All right? Thank you. We're done.
Yes, please. That would be wonderful. Closing treatment.
I can do that. All right, so just take a moment, and I know that was a lot of information to take in, so let's just take a moment, take a nice deep breath, and release it. And know that in this moment, there's one power, one presence, one beloved togetherness that is bound by love, bound by joy, bound by truth. And I know that as I am the living embodiment of that divine creative spark, I know that each and every one here and each and every one online is also part of that divine creative spark. And together, as we join hands to begin our journey across the bridge to a new expression, a new loving embrace of the greater vision of CSL Granada Hills. I know that we are free to fly, and we can move and go wherever our hearts desire, because we know it's being created and it's all good. It's all great. It's all joy. It's all love. So with that knowing and that grateful expression of ourselves as we move into the world, into our greater expression of CSL Granada Hills, I just declare it good. Because I know it's complete and it's already done and it's perfect. And so I just release it and let go and let God. And together we say, and so it is.
Sorry, it's a peace song, everyone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be.
church family.